All right, class. Our next problem here is from 1D. It's again from that worksheet right there. And they're giving you y equals -1/2 x plus 4. Once again, do not overemphasize or worry too much when you have a fraction, because this stuff is not difficult at all. Now, when it comes to when you're dealing with a fraction, especially when you have it like this, what you want to do is you want to choose the 0. The 0 is always going to be your friend, and multiples of this denominator. Now, I would suggest for you to use x values instead of y, because if you use y, it makes it a little bit more difficult to work with. So, let's go ahead and take a look at our first value. And I'm going to go ahead and choose a -2. Alright? So, once again, when you're doing this, make sure that you choose values of the denominator. Let's see. So if we substitute -2 there, what's going to happen? Alright, so we're going to substitute -2 in there. So we have -1/2 times -2 plus 4. Alright, so the idea here is that we want to eliminate that denominator, because keep in mind, when you're graphing, fractions don't work very well with these things. So we're going to cancel out the 2. 2 goes in there once, but remember it's still negative. So -1 times -1 is +1. And you bring down the +4. So once again, the 2's cancel out. This -2 became -1. So -1 times -1 became +1. And we bring down the 4. So 1 plus 4 will give you 5. So when your value is -2, your y value is going to end up being 5, +5. Alright. Our second value. Our second value, we said that 0 is always our friend. So let's go ahead and choose a 0 for x and substitute it in there. Now, why is 0 our friend? Well, it's very easy. Anything that you multiply times 0 will give you 0. So for example, here we end up with -1/2 times 0, which will be 0. You bring down the +4. So 0 plus 4 will end up giving you 4. So you end up with the value 0, 4. Alright, our next one, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our third one here. So let's say we choose another value. In this case, we're going to go ahead and choose the +2. Now remember, we're choosing these values at random, but in this case, we're choosing multiples of that denominator because we want to get rid of that fraction. In our previous one, we didn't have to do that. We could just put whatever x value or y value you want. In this case, it's preferable for you to choose x values. It makes it a lot easier to work with. Alright, so we're going to substitute +2 in there. So once again, we're going to have y equals -1/2 and substitute the +2 there, plus 4. The 2 cancels out, so it becomes 1. So we have -1 times 1, which is -1. Bring down the +4. And once again, -1 plus 4, we subtract, keep the sign of the larger one. So y equals +3, excuse me. So you end up with 2, 3. So those are your ordered pairs for that equation. Y equals -1/2 x plus 4. Now go ahead and put them in ordered pair form. -2 and 5, 0 and 4, and 2 and 3. we plot them. Once again, if our calculations were correct, this should form a straight line once we connected them. So the first one is -2 and 5. So it's 2 places to the left and 5 places up. So your ordered pair for that one would be right there. 1, 2, actually it's up here. Sorry about that. So it's -2 and 5 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's our first ordered pair right there. The next one is 0, 4. It doesn't move on the X, so it moves 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's right there. And our next one is 2, 3. So it goes 1, 2 to the right and 3 up. 1, 2, 3. And that is your point right there. So connect these. And again, if yours is slightly crooked, that's fine, as long as it doesn't make a drastic turn right there. So it should form a line right there. Once again, ignore this one. This one was a mistake. So that is your graph for y equals -1/2 x plus 4. All right, see you in a little bit.